swarms in the sky, not jets but eyes that hunt. Hezbollah's FPV drones dive into barracks, tents, command rooms, precision-stitched into chaos across Israel's north. Rockets follow, defenses strain. This isn't just firepower, it's a new way of fighting. Are drone swarms rewriting the rules of this war? Hezbollah has launched a large-scale wave of coordinated drone and rocket attacks, targeting Israeli military positions and settlements across the northern front. According to the group, operations centered on the use of FPV and one-way attack drones, deployed in swarms against troop concentrations, barracks, and command infrastructure. Multiple Israeli positions came under sustained attack, including Kiryat Shmona, Metula, Misgav Am, and Dovev, with combined drone swarms and rocket salvos targeting both military sites and troop gatherings. Hezbollah said drone swarms struck key installations such as the Kiryat Shmona Barracks, Avivim Barracks, and the Amiad Base near the Sea of Galilee, alongside troop concentrations in Shlomi, Kfar Giladi, and Nakura. A separate coordinated FPV drone operation targeted 6 high-value sites, including troop sleeping quarters, command and control rooms, and operational tents across Yiftah, Beit Hillel, and Margaliot. The group also released operational footage showing drone swarm strikes on Israeli positions in Even Menachem and the Kiryat Ma'ar area, indicating an expansion of precision drone warfare tactics. Simultaneously, artillery units shelled Israeli troop positions in southern Lebanon, including the Blat site, while drone strikes ignited fires at elevated positions such as Al-Owaidah Hill near Odaiza. On the Israeli side, the impact of the attacks was also felt in civilian areas. According to emergency services, a rocket barrage targeting Nahariya resulted in casualties. At least one woman was wounded after a rocket struck a residential building, with 6 other projectiles intercepted by Israeli air defenses. The scale and coordination of the attacks suggest a shift towards sustained drone swarm tactics, combining reconnaissance, precision targeting, and saturation strikes to overwhelm defensive systems. As both sides intensify operations along the northern front, the battlefield is increasingly defined by unmanned systems, raising the stakes for escalation and testing the limits of air defense in a rapidly evolving conflict. Israel's military says it is on the verge of capturing one of Hezbollah's most symbolic strongholds in southern Lebanon, marking a potentially significant turning point in the conflict. The town of Bint Jbeil, long considered a center of Hezbollah's power, has been the focus of intense fighting in recent days. Israeli forces, led by the 98th Division, have encircled the area and launched a coordinated ground offensive, aiming to dismantle the group's remaining infrastructure. In addition to Division 98, Divisions 162, 146, 91, and 36 are operating in southern Lebanon. According to the IDF, the operation has already dealt a heavy blow to Hezbollah's presence in the town.
The troops eliminated more than 100 terrorists from the Hezbollah terror organization in close-quarters combat and from the air, destroyed dozens of terrorist infrastructures, and located hundreds of weapons in the area.
Israeli officials say the town was first isolated to prevent reinforcements or escape routes before troops moved in for close-quarters combat supported by air power. The military claims hundreds of weapons have been seized and key positions, including the town's central stadium, have been captured. Bint Jbeil carries deep symbolic weight. It was here, in the year 2000, that Hezbollah's former leader Hassan Nasrallah declared Israel weaker than a spider web, following Israel's withdrawal from southern Lebanon. The current offensive appears aimed not just at military gains, but at dismantling that legacy.
Bint Jbeil. The year is 2026. Our forces control the space, destroying terrorist infrastructure and killing dozens of terrorists. Behind us are the residents of the north whom we protect. Before us are the national days that remind us why and for what we are fighting.
Several IDF soldiers have been wounded during the offensive in Bint Jbeil. On April 12th, 2 paratroopers were moderately injured in a Hezbollah rocket attack in the area. Israeli officials estimated that it would likely take a few more days to complete the operations in Bint Jbeil, during which the division aims to kill the remaining few dozen operatives there and locate Hezbollah infrastructure. The battle, however, is far from over. Hezbollah has continued its cross-border assault on northern Israel, launching drones, rockets and missiles in a new wave of attacks as fighting on the Lebanon front intensifies. The Lebanese armed group said its fighters targeted the Israeli settlement of Kiryat Shmona with a squadron of attack drones on Friday, while additional missile strikes hit the northern communities of Metula, Margaliot and Misgav Am. Hezbollah also claimed to have struck Israeli troops near the Kiryat detention center in southern Lebanon.
Hezbollah struck a gathering of Israeli enemy soldiers east of the Kiryat detention center in southern Lebanon with a missile.
Separately, Hezbollah launched a barrage of 5 rockets toward the northern Israeli city of Carmiel. The Israeli military said all 5 rockets were intercepted and no injuries were reported. Israeli forces, meanwhile, say they are expanding operations inside southern Lebanon. According to the IDF, more than 200 Hezbollah fighters were killed over the past week, and 50 infrastructure sites were destroyed during ongoing operations.
More than 200 launchers have been destroyed and hundreds of artillery operatives have been eliminated since the start of the campaign against the terrorist organization Hezbollah. In addition, more than 250 Hezbollah terrorist organization artillery operatives have been eliminated, including 15 commanders responsible for artillery arrays in various sectors.
The IDF said one recent strike targeted a Hezbollah cell near troops operating in southern Lebanon, while another hit fighters attempting to flee in a vehicle after taking cover in vegetation. As fighting escalates, controversy is growing over Israeli strikes on emergency services in Lebanon. Lebanon's national news agency reported that several ambulances and fire trucks were hit in an Israeli airstrike on Deir Khanun Ras Al Ain in southern Lebanon. The strike came after Israeli military spokesperson Avichai Adrei accused Hezbollah of using ambulances and medical infrastructure for military purposes, though Israel has not publicly provided evidence for the claim. In a post on X, Adrei stated that Israel will act in accordance with international law against any military activity carried out by Hezbollah, including using medical facilities and ambulances.
Urgent and dangerous warning. We reiterate that within the framework of its terrorist activities, Hezbollah is making extensive military use of ambulances. Based on this, we warn once again that the military use of medical facilities and ambulances must be stopped immediately. And we emphasize that if this conduct is not halted, Israel will act in accordance with international law against any military activity carried out by the terrorist Hezbollah using those facilities and ambulances.
With Hezbollah maintaining sustained fire into northern Israel intensifying strikes across southern Lebanon, and civilian emergency infrastructure now caught in the crossfire, the northern front continues to move further from de-escalation and deeper into sustained regional conflict. Israel and Hezbollah continue to exchange, despite Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's announcement of peace talks with Lebanon, which continued to reel from major Israeli strikes 2 days earlier. Hezbollah continued to target Israel, including firing a missile at the southern port city of Ashdod early on April 10th, one of the deepest attacks attempted by the Lebanese movement amid the current fighting. Israeli authorities said sirens were also activated in Tel Aviv and surrounding towns in central Israel due to the interception of the missile and fear of falling fragments. Shortly before the attack on Ashdod, the Israeli military said that the Israeli Air Force had struck some 10 rocket launchers in Lebanon that were used to fire at northern Israel in the preceding hours, adding that it was continuing to operate to locate and destroy additional launchers. At the same time, Iran's Tasnim news agency reported that Hezbollah had launched a series of drone strikes on a military facility in northern Israel. The report said that the attack was carried out on a military center in the area of the settlement of Ya'ara. Earlier, the Ynet reported that Israel had issued a warning because drones had entered its airspace near the border with Lebanon. Moreover, Hezbollah announced early on April 10th a series of military operations targeting Israeli strongholds and assets as a direct response to the aggression against Lebanon, particularly in light of the massacres carried out across the nation and the continued destruction of its civilian infrastructure, homes, and villages. This follows a series of intensive resistance activities on the previous day, during which Hezbollah carried out a total of 75 operations, including direct close-range confrontations with what it calls invading Israeli enemy forces along the Bint Jbeil axis. The Lebanese movement stressed that its response will continue until the US-Israeli aggression against Lebanon and its people ends. According to an Anadolu agency tally, Hezbollah has waged over 1,500 attacks on Israel since March 2nd. Israel, on the other hand, has killed nearly 1,900 people across Lebanon in the same time period. Regarding the ceasefire, there was no immediate response to the Israeli announcement from Lebanon, which had repeatedly proposed talks to end the war, or from Hezbollah. Netanyahu said that talks would focus on disarming Hezbollah and establishing peaceful relations between the countries. According to a person familiar with the plans, negotiations are expected to begin next week at the State Department in Washington. The talks are to be handled on the American side by US Ambassador to Lebanon, Michael Issa, and on the Israeli side by Israel's ambassador to the US Yechiel Leiter, according to the person who spoke on condition of anonymity due to the delicacy of the situation. A Lebanese diplomatic official familiar with the developments said that the country has not yet appointed someone to lead talks from Beirut, but Lebanese President Joseph Aoun is keen to have a temporary ceasefire when talks commence in parallel with those taking place between the United States and Iran, mediated by Pakistan. Israel's announcement came hours after it had warned of escalation and said that it had killed an aide and nephew of Hezbollah leader Naim Qassem, Ali Yusuf Hashi.